Hey friends, welcome to a captivating voyage through the heart of ancient Rome, where a frail youth rises to become the architect of an eternal empire. From the blood-stained steps of the Senate to the sunlit columns of the Forum, from the crashing waves of Actium to the serene Palatine Hill, we'll follow Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, a man destined to transform chaos into Pax Romana. Born to a knight's modest hearth, forged in the fires of civil war as Suetonius recounts, this cunning strategist wove power, mercy, and myth into a realm stretching from Hispania to Egypt. Was he truly touched by Apollo's light to unify a fractured world, or did his genius craft a divine facade? Stay tuned to uncover why his name crowns the month of August, a secret that binds his legacy to time itself. Picture the scent of myrrh from temple altars, the Tiber's gentle murmur, and the weight of a laurel crown uniting millions. Your heart stirs with the enigma of his rise. These tales, etched in marble by Reshaped and whispered by Tacitus, brim with triumph, intrigue, and whispers of eternity. Let's unravel the mystery together. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell if you're enchanted by this epic saga. Drop a comment to share where you're tuning in from and what time it is there. It's thrilling to connect with you across the globe. Now, dim the lights. Let a soft breeze hum through an open window. Sink into your cozy blankets, relax your shoulders, and think of a moment when you felt truly inspired. Let the distant clink of Legion armor and the flicker of torchlight guide you. Step aboard our time machine, and let's embark on tonight's adventure. Stand in the Grand Forum, where marble gleams under starlight, and Augustus, the boy who became a god, faces his final act under Jupiter's watchful gaze. At dawn in Velitrae, 63 BC, Gaius Octavius is born to an equestrian family, destined to reshape Rome. The air hums with possibility, as if the gods themselves are whispering of a child born today, destined to reshape a fractured world. Relax now, let your breath slow, and drift into the story of Gaius Octavius, a boy whose name will one day echo as Augustus, father of the Roman Empire. Congratulations, you've just woken up in the late Roman Republic, a time of ambition and turmoil where political missteps could lead to exile or death. Proscriptions marked enemies for death, a grim tool of control in Rome's civil wars, leaving thousands dead in purges that make modern office drama look like a picnic. The Republic, strained by its vast empire, teeters on the brink of collapse, with generals like Sulla and Marius fueling bloody conflicts from 88 to 82 BC. Now feel the cool earth beneath your bare feet, the scent of fresh-baked bread mingling with the damp hills, and listen to the soft rustle of leaves in the morning breeze, carrying hints of a destiny unfolding. The sun climbs higher and you wander Rome's bustling streets, the air thick with the tang of river water and spice-laden smoke from markets where merchants hawk silks from the east and grains from Africa. Your sandals crunch on cobblestones, the warmth of the sun contrasting with the cool shade of towering aqueducts. On September 23, 63 BC, Gaius Octavius is born in Velitrae, a quiet hilltop town, to a wealthy equestrian family with ties to Julius Caesar, his great-uncle. Rome, the beacon of the Mediterranean, sprawls from Hispania to Mesopotamia, forged by conquests like the Punic Wars against Carthage, which crushed Hannibal's armies from 264 to 146 BC, and the annexation of Greece after Corinth's fall in 146 BC, flooding Rome with Hellenistic treasures. Julius Caesar is rising in Gaul, subduing Celtic tribes and expanding Rome's borders to the Rhine, his victories amassing wealth and influence that will shape Octavius's future. But the Republic frays under corruption and civil strife. The Senate, riddled with greed, hoards provincial wealth, while conflicts like Sulla versus Marius and the looming clash between Pompey and Caesar destabilize the system. In this chaos, Octavius's birth marks the beginning of a journey toward Pax Romana, 2 centuries of peace that will redefine the West. Let the gentle flow of the Tiber soothe you now, its ripples a soft lullaby as we trace his path. No indoor plumbing here, just chamber pots and prayers against plague. One infected cut, and you're bargaining with the fates, worse than forgetting your phone on a long trip. Picture yourself as a plebeian now, weaving through Rome's crowded forum, the coarse wool of your tunic chafing, the clang of blacksmiths hammering iron echoing like a pulse. The scent of incense from Jupiter's temple on the Capitoline mixes with the sweat of laborers. Society is a rigid pyramid, Patricians, noble families like the Julii, rule through the Senate, clutching consulships and vast estates. Below, plebeians, farmers, artisans, merchants, grind away. Some, like Octavius's equestrian family, grow wealthy but lack the ancient bloodlines to rival patricians. At the bottom, slaves, perhaps a third of the population, toil in chains. War captives from Gaul or the East, their labor fueling latifundia farms. Religion binds this world. Jupiter thunders, Mars inspires warriors, Venus whispers of ancestry. Yet Eastern cults infiltrate. Isis, Egypt's protector, draws women to her chants. Mithras, Persia's light god, lures soldiers to secret rites in underground caves. These faiths offer hope amid inequality, but conservatives fear they erode Rome's traditions. The economy thrives on Latium's wheat, olives, and grapes, with Ostia's ports funneling Egyptian grain and Eastern spices to markets like the Forum Boreum. War spoils, gold from Gaul, silver from Syria, flood in, but inflation and unrest follow. As you pause by a fountain, its cool trickle on stone calms your mind. A fleeting peace in a stratified city, where Octavius will rise to reshape it all. In Rome's volatile politics, alliances shift like tides, with power concentrated among ambitious generals and a corrupt Senate. The Senate's authority wanes as private armies, loyal to leaders like Pompey and Caesar, dominate the political landscape. You'd trade your best tunic for a hot shower and Wi-Fi right about now, wouldn't you? As afternoon shadows stretch, you're a displaced farmer trudging the Appian Way, dust clinging to your sandals, the acrid smoke of roadside fires mixing with overripe fruit's faint rot. Your muscles ache from tilling unforgiving soil, dust gritty on your lips. Land crises tear at the Republic. Sprawling latifundia, worked by slaves, swallow small farms, driving peasants like you into Rome's slums, fueling unemployment and food riots. The Gracchus brothers tried reform. Tiberius, tribune in 133 BC, capped noble landholdings to redistribute public land, but the Senate's wrath ended him in a violent clash. Gaius, in 123 to 122 BC, pushed citizenship and cheap grain, only to fall to political murder. Their failures widened the rift between nobles and populists, turning displaced farmers into soldiers for generals like Pompey or Caesar, who promised land for loyalty, militarizing politics and igniting civil wars. Octavius, tied to Caesar through his mother Assia, enters this turbulent world, his equestrian roots and divine omens at birth signaling a path to power. Let the soft rustle of olive branches ease your weary soul, a brief respite before the storm. The Senate's reform attempts falter, unable to curb the power of generals who command loyal legions. The Gracchi's vision of land reform, though noble, sparks violence, deepening the divide between the elite and the masses. Evening falls, and you're a legionary under Julius Caesar, the metallic tang of armor polish in your nose, the weight of your gladius pressing your thigh as you march through Gaul's misty forests. Leaves crunch underfoot, war cries fading into the wind. Caesar, born 100 BC into the noble but cash-strapped Julii, rises through genius. From 58 to 50 BC, he conquers Gaul, crushing tribes at Alesia, extending Rome to the Atlantic. His chronicles immortalize his feats, winning legions' devotion and Rome's masses. As consul in 59 BC, he grants citizenship to some Gauls and refines the calendar. But his power alarms the Senate, fearing a dictator. In Octavius's birth year, Caesar's campaigns lay the foundation for his nephew's inheritance of wealth, loyalty, and ambition. Relax by the campire's soft crackle, its warmth seeping into your bones as the empire's storms brew. Caesar's conquests in Gaul showcase unmatched strategy, securing resources and loyalty that Octavius will later wield to rise above Rome's chaos. Night descends, and you're a senator in the Forum, cool marble under your palms, debates echoing like thunder, incense from altars thicken the air. Taste the sharp bite of wine at a tense gathering. In 60 BC, the first triumvirate forms: Caesar, Pompey, conqueror of the East, and Crassus, Rome's richest ally to outmaneuver the Senate. Caesar secures consulship, Pompey land for veterans, Crassus tax breaks. But the pact unravels. Crassus dies at Carrhae in 53 BC, and Caesar-Pompey tensions ignite. In 49 BC, Caesar crosses the Rubicon, sparking civil war, his victories at Pharsalus and Thapsus crushing Pompey and the Republic's defenders. The Senate, once Rome's heart, is powerless against private armies, opening a path for Octavius to claim power as Caesar's heir. Let the night's quiet wrap you, the soft rustle of togas a gentle lullaby. The triumvirate's collapse exposes the Republic's fragility, setting the stage for Octavius to navigate its ruins with cunning and ambition. As stars emerge, you're a merchant in Rome's markets, fingers brushing silky Greek fabrics, the aroma of Eastern spices mingling with Ostia's salty breeze. Haggling fills the air, a symphony of accents. Hellenistic influences shine. Temples echo the Parthenon's Corinthian grace. Stoicism from Zeno teaches restraint, shaping leaders like Octavius's tutor Athenodorus. Homer's epics inspire Ennius's Annales, weaving Rome's history into heroic verse. Merchants from Athens bring books, Africans oil, Egyptians papyrus. But conservatives fear Greek decadence undermines Rome's virtues, clashing with Isis and Mithras cults. This vibrant, tense melting pot sets the stage for Augustus to blend traditions, drift with the market's hum, a tapestry of worlds. Rome's cultural diversity, blending Greek, Egyptian, and Roman traditions, shapes Octavius's vision for a unified empire. Moonlight bathes Velitrae, and you hover near the birth chamber. Oil lamps flickering, midwives' herbal poultices scenting the air. Feel the smooth clay of a birth amulet in your hand. Omens herald Octavius's birth. An augur declares him ruler of the world, astonishing for an equestrian. His mother Atia dreams of Apollo's protection, a sign of divine favor. In superstitious Rome, these portents hint at a grand destiny. Relax into the night's hush, and owls call whispering fate. Prophecies surrounding Octavius's birth fuel his early ambition, marking him as a figure chosen by the gods. In the villa's quiet, you sense family ties weaving destiny, hearth fire glowing on stone, the faint taste of celebratory wine lingering. Octavius's father, a wealthy equestrian and Macedonian governor, offers status but no noble blood. His mother Atia, Caesar's niece, ties him to power. Caesar's 44 BC will name Octavius heir, thrusting him into Rome's center with wealth and loyal legions. As dawn nears, let the embers crackle lull you. Octavius's connection to Caesar through Atia and his adoption in 44 BC position him to inherit not just wealth, but a legacy of power. In this crucible of ambition, Augustus rises to forge an empire from a broken republic, his Pax Romana a testament to resilience amid chaos. Lie back, the soft linen cradling you, the Tiber's murmur fading into dreams. Rome's republic was a turbulent arena of glory and betrayal, where Octavius's journey from Velitrae to the throne begins. Be grateful for today's world, where power shifts don't end in prescriptions. In a realm of blood and betrayal, how does a boy from Velitrae claim the throne? His saga continues, waiting to unfold. On the night of September 23, 63 BC in Velitrae, Gaius Octavius is born into a world of ambition and unrest, his destiny tied to the crumbling Roman Republic. You rise, feeling the cool marble floor beneath your feet, the faint clink of armor echoing from guards outside, and taste the lingering bitterness of diluted wine on your tongue. But what if this night brings whispers of a young man's rise, a boy thrust into a vortex of betrayal and blood, forging an empire from the ashes of a republic? Let your mind drift now, relaxing into the gentle crackle of a hearth fire, as we trace Gaius Octavius's journey through political intrigue, brutal wars, and shadowed choices, transforming chaos into the enduring Roman Empire. Congratulations, you've stepped into the late Republic's treacherous politics, where alliances shift like tides, and a single misstep could mean exile or death. Proscriptions, a brutal tool of the time, marked enemies for execution, claiming thousands in purges that reshaped Rome's power structure. Imagine navigating a world where generals like Pompey and Caesar wield private armies, turning rivalries into civil wars. And now, feel the weight of a woolen toga draping your shoulders, the smoky aroma of sacrificial fires wafting through the air, and listen to the soft patter of rain on tiled roofs, a soothing veil over the city's unrest. The moon rises, casting silvery light on the forum's columns, and you wander as a young patrician, the chill night air nipping at your skin, the distant howl of wolves mingling with the city's murmurs. Born September 23, 63 BC in Velitrae, Gaius Octavius grows in an equestrian family, wealthy but not noble, like the patricians dominating the Senate. His father, a successful Macedonian governor, dies in 59 BC when Octavius is 4, leaving his mother Atia, Caesar's niece, to raise him. This tie to the Julii clan opens doors, blending financial stability with elite connections. Feel the rough parchment of family scrolls under your fingers, the earthy scent of olive oil lamps illuminating tales of ancestry. Octavius's youth unfolds amid Rome's chaos, shaped by the clashes between Pompey and Caesar, teaching him to navigate ambition and betrayal with cunning. No modern safety nets here. One plague or purge, and your legacy vanishes like mist over the Tiber. Octavius's early years, marked by his father's death and his mother's ties to Caesar, position him at the edge of Rome's elite, ready to seize opportunity. Dawn breaks, and you're a student in Rome's academies, the crisp morning air filled with the scent of blooming jasmine, the soft scratch of stylus on wax tablets echoing in quiet halls. Octavius receives elite education from Stoic philosopher Athenodorus of Tarsus, instilling restraint and reason, shaping his later rule as a composed leader. Rhetorician Apollodorus hones his oratory, crucial for swaying crowds in Senate. He studies military tactics, riding, weaponry inspired by Alexander's campaigns. Greek literature, Homer's epics, Sophocles' plays, sharpens his cultural acumen, later funding Virgil's Aeneid for propaganda. From youth, Octavius shines in intellect, eloquence, and social savvy, impressing at gatherings despite lacking patrician blood. Let the gentle rustle of papyrus scrolls soothe you, a whisper of knowledge in a world of swords. Octavius's education under mentors like Athenodorus equips him with the tools of rhetoric and strategy, laying the foundation for his rise as a master manipulator of Rome's political stage. As the sun climbs, you shift to a physician's role, the herbal tang of remedies in your nostrils, the cool compress on fevered skin providing fleeting relief. Octavius battles chronic illnesses, asthma, stomach pains, frequent fevers, weakening him physically. These force reliance on allies like Agrippa, his military right hand, and Maecenas, his diplomatic advisor. Illness shapes his leadership, pushing him to favor diplomacy and delegation over battlefield heroics, distinguishing him from Caesar's bold style. Yet, his resilience shines, turning weakness into strength by building loyal networks. Feel the pulse of a racing heart under your touch, the distant clamor of the city, a reminder of stakes beyond health. Octavius's frail health forces him to rely on strategic brilliance and loyal allies like Agrippa, transforming personal weakness into political strength. Midday heat rises, and you're a young aide marching with Caesar's legions, the dust of Hispania roads gritty on your lips, the clang of shields a rhythmic pulse. Caesar, Octavius's great-uncle, spots potential early, introducing him to politics and campaigns. By 45 BC, at 18, Octavius joins Caesar in Hispania against Pompey's remnants, proving courage despite illness, persisting on tasks like message delivery. Impressed, Caesar names him heir in his will, revealed post-assassination in 44 BC. This grants wealth, estates, and Caesar's name, Gaius Julius Caesar Octavianus. He inherits legion's loyalty, rallying Caesar's veterans with promises of land and glory, swiftly building a private army to challenge rivals. Let the tramp of marching feet fade into a soothing cadence, the sun's warmth a balm on weary limbs. Caesar's adoption of Octavius in 44 BC, as revealed in his will, thrusts the young heir into Rome's power struggle, armed with wealth and loyal legions. Afternoon shadows lengthen, and you're a strategist in Rome's chaos. Caesar's assassination in 44 BC sparks chaos, thrusting young Octavius into Rome's power struggle. At 18, studying in Apollonia, Octavius learns the news, returns to claim inheritance amid rivals. Antony, Caesar's lieutenant, dismisses him as a beardless boy, but holds strong armies. Lepidus controls western provinces. Senate conservatives like Cicero, via Philippix, court Octavius against Antony while backing assassins Brutus and Cassius. Octavius deftly navigates this turmoil, recruiting Caesar's veterans with land promises and forming a private force to assert his claim. In 43 BC, he forges the second triumvirate with Antony and Lepidus via Lex Titia, dividing empire, Octavius Italia, Antony East, Lepidus Africa, and Hispania. This tense alliance, a masterstroke of pragmatism, positions Octavius to target Caesar's assassins while consolidating his power. Relax with the soft whisper of Senate scrolls unrolling, a veil over brewing betrayals. The Ides of March propel Octavius into a fractured empire, where his strategic alliances and recruitment of Caesar's veterans mark him as a formidable player despite his youth. Twilight falls, and you're a shadowy enforcer, the metallic scent of blood in the air, the muffled cries echoing through Rome's alleys. To fund wars and eliminate foes, the triumvirate launches Proscriptions in 43 BC, lists dooming 2,000-3,000, including Cicero, assassinated December 43 BC, his head and hands displayed. Octavius agrees, seizing assets for legions pre-Philippi. This brutality, necessary in chaos, stains his early rule, targeting senators, knights, even innocents. He betrays allies when expedient, using ruthless pragmatism to secure his position, a dark necessity to fund the war against Brutus and Cassius. Let the night's silence envelop you, the distant Tiber's flow washing away echoes of screams. The Proscriptions of 43 BC reveal Octavius's willingness to embrace ruthless measures, eliminating enemies and seizing wealth to strengthen his campaign for dominance. As stars emerge, you glimpse intimate villa life, the silky touch of fine linens, the savory aroma of Scribonia's feasts lingering. Octavius marries Clodia in 42 BC for alliance, divorces soon after. In 40 BC, Scribonia bears Julia, his only child, but he divorces her in 39 BC amid tensions. In 38 BC, he weds Livia Drusilla, scandalously while she's pregnant from prior marriage. They have no children, but her sons Tiberius and Drusus become key. Livia advises politically, influencing diplomacy and succession. Family feuds complicate. Julia's scandals lead to 2 BC exile, disrupting plans. Her sons with Agrippa die young, paving Tiberius's path amid Livia's alleged maneuvers. Marriages seal pacts, but personal clashes abound. Drift with the soft flicker of oil lamps aglow on familial bonds. Octavius's marriages to Clodia, Scribonia, and Livia reflect strategic alliances, but family tensions, including Julia's exile, reveal the personal costs of his political ambition. Moonlight fades, and you're a storyteller by the fire. The crackle of logs a rhythmic tale weaver, the warm glow dancing on walls. Anecdotes abound. Octavius commands from a litter in campaigns, astonishing generals with willpower. He disguises as a commoner to gauge public opinion, eavesdropping in markets to refine propaganda. Suetonius recounts his early confidence, impressing Caesar. These highlight resilience and cunning, turning youth into advantage. Let the fire's embers dim, a soft hush settling. Stories of Octavius's resilience, commanding despite illness and gathering intelligence incognito, underscore his cunning and determination to rise above his limitations. In this forge of ambition, Augustus transforms from frail youth to empire's architect, his early ruthlessness paving Pax Romana's peace, a testament to human tenacity amid shadows. Recline now, the night's cool embrace cradling you, the Tiber's murmur a final lullaby. The Republic's collapse offers Octavius a stage to outmaneuver rivals through strategy and sacrifice. Treasure today's stability, no prescriptions for political posts. How does this young strategist outmaneuver Antony, a battle-hardened titan? His triumphs await in the dawn. Picture yourself in a quiet Roman villa at dusk, 27 BC, perched above the Tiber's gentle flow, the air heavy with the scent of blooming jasmine and faint temple smoke. You sink into soft linens, their cool weave brushing your skin, tasting the sweet tang of diluted wine. The distant clink of pottery hums like a lullaby, inviting you to relax as we trace Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, through the wars that birthed Pax Romana, a 200-year peace. Let the soft rustle of cypress leaves in the evening breeze guide you into his saga. Rome's a brutal arena where power is won with blood and wit, like a high-stakes deal where every smile hides a dagger. Augustus, plagued by asthma and stomach pains, rises not by physical might, but by cunning, leaning on Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, his loyal friend and military genius. From blood-soaked battlefields where swords clash and smoke chokes the air, to hushed chambers of diplomacy, Augustus blends force, propaganda, and alliances to unite an empire from the Atlantic to the Middle East. Agrippa's brilliance, like a master engineer, drives victories, such as the pivotal clash at Actium in 31 BC, while Augustus builds roads, aqueducts, and treaties, laying the foundation for a golden age that transforms a fractured republic into an eternal empire. Imagine his campaigns as a grand chessboard, each move calculated to outwit chaos itself. Now, we turn to the Battle of Philippi in 42 BC, the first crucible where Augustus and Agrippa's partnership faces the fire of Rome's civil strife, a clash that sets the stage for their rise to supremacy. In October 42 BC, in Macedonia's rugged hills, Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, faces the crucible of Philippi, where his cunning and resolve shape Rome's future against the Republic's last defenders. You recline on a coarse wool blanket, its rough weave brushing your skin, tasting the gritty tang of barley rations mixed with watered wine. The distant clang of armor and the soft murmur of the Strymon River lull you, a soothing rhythm against the tension of impending battle. Your breath slows, sinking into the flicker of firelight on canvas tents, as we follow Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, through the crucible of Philippi, where a frail youth's cunning and resolve face the Republic's last defenders in a clash that shapes Rome's destiny. You stand on Rome's brutal stage, where power hangs by a thread, and the Ides of March, 44 BC, when Brutus and Cassius assassinated Julius Caesar, plunged the Republic into chaos. Caesar's death sparked a power struggle, with Augustus, named his heir at 18, stepping into the fray. His youth and frail health, asthma and fevers gnawing at his strength, make him an unlikely contender, yet his mind burns with ambition. He allies with Mark Antony and Lepidus in the Second Triumvirate, sealed by Lex Titia in 43 BC, to avenge Caesar and crush Brutus and Cassius, who rally 80,000 to 100,000 troops to defend the Senate's old order. They fortify Philippi, a strategic hub on the Egnatia Road, its hills and marshes a natural bulwark. Augustus and Antony match them with 100,000 men, including Caesar's veteran legions from Gaul and Hispania, their loyalty a prize as valuable as gold. This battle, akin to Scipio's triumph at Zama, will determine whether Rome embraces a new order or clings to its fading republic. Feel the cool mist rising from the marshes, the earthy scent of damp soil underfoot, as the stars above witness the gathering storm. As morning mist clears, you march toward the battle lines, the ground trembling under thousands of boots, the air thick with dust, and the acrid scent of pitch-soaked torches. The first clash, around October 3rd, erupts with brutal intensity. Antony, ever the tactician, unveils a daring plan. His men secretly build a causeway through the southern marshes, a hidden path to outflank Cassius's camp. You hear the splash of boots in mud, the creak of timbers laid under moonlight, as Antony's forces surge forward, catching Cassius off guard. Their assault breaches his fortifications, scattering defenders like leaves in a gale. Meanwhile, Brutus strikes north. His troops overruns Augustus's camp with ferocious speed, overwhelming its defenses. Augustus, weakened by illness, retreats to safer ground, focusing on logistics to ensure the army's supplies, a critical role that binds the legions to him. Miscommunication dooms Cassius. Believing the battle lost, he falls on his sword. Unaware, Brutus holds the upper hand. Cassius's death weakens the Republicans, a pivotal blow driven by Augustus's steady support behind Antony's bold tactics. Let the fading echoes of the day's clash soothe you, the soft rustle of wind through the hills, a momentary peace amid the carnage. Weeks pass, and you stand in the second phase, October 23rd, the air heavy with the strain of dwindling supplies, pushing Brutus into a desperate stand. Augustus and Antony tighten their siege, their fleet blockading Neapolis, starving Brutus's army. Antony's cavalry and infantry advance, their disciplined assault, breaking Brutus's lines. Brutus, his troops faltering under dwindling rations, abandons his hilltop defenses, drawn into open combat. The clash is relentless. Swords spark, horses scream, the ground slick with blood. Antony's forces overwhelm Brutus's lines, shattering their cohesion. Defeated, Brutus flees to a nearby hill, where, as Appian records, he laments, "O virtue, you are but a name, and I worshipped you as real," before taking his life. The Republic's last stand falls, a victory cemented by Augustus's financial backing and Antony's battlefield prowess. Feel the weight of victory settle, the soft crackle of campfires, a comforting rhythm as the night envelops the field. The distant rivers flow, washing away the day's sorrow. You linger in the command tent, oil lamps casting shadows, the sharp scent of ink on papyrus grounding you. Augustus, though not leading the charge, plays a linchpin role, using Caesar's wealth to fund the legions and secure their loyalty, ensuring supplies flow seamlessly. His restraint in ceding tactical command to Antony preserves their alliance, a calculated move to strengthen his position without risking defeat. The victory delivers Rome's eastern provinces, Asia, Syria, Macedonia, into the triumvirate's hands. Augustus claims some, Antony takes richer Syria and Egypt, and Lepidus holds the west. Seized lands reward veterans, binding them to Augustus like employees tied to a generous CEO. Yet tensions simmer as Augustus's ambition grows, setting the stage for future rivalry with Antony. Let the soft whisper of the wind through the tent flaps lull you, the flickering shadows dancing like memories of the day's triumph. Night falls, the campfires glow dancing, the strymons murmur a soothing whisper. Philippi's triumph eliminates Brutus and Cassius, burying the Republic's ideals and paving Augustus's path to the Principate in 27 BC, launching Pax Romana. Augustus's strategic brilliance shines, leveraging Caesar's wealth, deferring to Antony's tactics, and securing veteran loyalty through land grants. Spies, possibly defectors or local merchants, reveal Brutus's defenses, like hacking a rival's strategy. Naval blockades starve Neapolis, and taunts lure Brutus from his forts, splitting their forces, a chess move turning defense into defeat. Feel the warmth of the fire seep into your bones, the soft crackle a rhythmic reminder of Augustus's cunning, his decisions weaving victory from the threads of chaos. By torchlight, tales swirl. Augustus dreams of Jupiter, the god's promise of victory spreading like wildfire, boosting morale and tying him to Caesar's divine legacy. It's a calculated narrative, rallying soldiers and cementing his divine favor. Rumors whisper he spared a Republican prisoner, perhaps a commander, for secrets, sowing distrust in enemy ranks, like leaking a rival's plans. These stories, true or crafted, paint Augustus as God-chosen, his legend growing. Yet, as Cassius Dio notes, the prisoner's betrayal, if real, tipped the scales, aiding Antony's marshland assault. The victory, though shared, marks Augustus as a rising power, his strategic restraint and financial acumen laying the foundation for his rule. Let the embers dim, the night's hush enveloping you, as Philippi crowns Augustus a contender, his cunning forging an empire from chaos. Treasure today's stability, no daggers lurk in modern deals. Will he surpass Antony? The dawn awaits. Philippi's victory in 42 BC, eliminating Brutus and Cassius, destroys the Republican resistance and establishes Augustus as a key architect of Rome's new order. His strategic decisions, funding the campaign, securing loyalty, and leveraging Antony's military skill, prove his genius, transforming a frail youth into an empire's cornerstone. Augustus, despite his ailments that leave him pale and short of breath, moves with quiet purpose, his eyes sharp as a falcon's, assessing the lines of his legions. His greatness lies not in physical prowess, but in the profound insight to recognize his limits and elevate those who complement them, like Agrippa, whose organizational genius turns raw ambition into structured victory. The alliance with Antony and Lepidus, forged in the shadow of Caesar's death, is a masterstroke of diplomacy. The Lex Titia, a legal veil for their vengeance, transforming personal grief into political power. The battle's first phase, on October 3rd, showcases Augustus's vital support, as he ensures the flow of resources while Antony's causeway outflanks Cassius. Cassius's suicide, driven by miscommunication, marks a turning point, with Augustus's spies possibly sowing confusion. Midday heat beats down, the air thick with sweat and dust as you shield your eyes from the glare, the scent of crushed grass and blood rising from the field. The second phase, on October 23rd, sees Augustus's blockade of Neapolis starve Brutus's forces, forcing a desperate stand that Antony's disciplined assault crushes. Brutus's lament before death echoes the death knell of the old republic. Augustus's victory a symphony of mavericks, delegating assaults, gathering intelligence, controlling supplies, and luring foes from safety. These decisions, like threads in a tapestry, weave his legend, his ability to turn weakness into strength, a hallmark of his venerated rule. Philippi's outcomes solidify the triumvirate's control, with Augustus gaining eastern provinces and rewarding veterans with land, strengthening his power base. His restraint in letting Antony lead while managing logistics highlights his strategic foresight, a cornerstone of his rise. By firelight, anecdotes flicker like shadows. Augustus's dream of Jupiter, a divine assurance of victory, spreads through the ranks, boosting morale and binding him to Caesar's godlike status. It's a propaganda masterstroke, amplifying his divine aura. Rumors of sparing a prisoner for secrets sow enemy discord. His mercy a calculated blade. These tales, whether fact or fiction, amplify his aura, a leader favored by gods and men. Philippi, in its entirety, reveals Augustus's venerated traits, resilience, cunning, vision, transforming a frail heir into an empire's father. Relax now, the embers glowing softly, the night's hush enveloping you like a cloak. Philippi crowns Augustus a master strategist, his financial and diplomatic acumen forging a path to empire. No key moment is missed. His alliances, mavericks, triumphs, all weave his enduring legacy. Treasure today's peace. No battles rage in modern shadows. Will Actium test his alliance with Antony? The stars hold the answer. On September 2nd, 31 BC, in Actium's Bay on Greece's coast, Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, orchestrates a decisive clash that secures his empire. You lean against a weathered olive tree, its bark rough under your palm, tasting the dusty sweetness of figs plucked from a nearby branch. The horizon shimmers with the glint of sails, a fleet poised for destiny's call. As we follow Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, through the pivotal clash at Actium, where a frail strategist's vision confronts ambition's storm, shaping Rome's eternal empire. You stand amid a fractured Rome, where the second triumvirate's collapse fuels a clash between Augustus and Antony. After Philippi's triumph in 42 BC, the pact phrase, Antony claims the wealthy East, Syria, Asia Minor, Egypt, while Augustus holds Italy in the West, Lepidus relegated to Africa. The Brundisium Treaty in 40 BC offers a fragile peace, but ambition ignites rifts. Lepidus's 36 BC rebellion strips him of power, leaving Augustus and Antony to clash. Antony's alliance with Cleopatra, bolstered by Egypt's wealth, builds a rival power, while Augustus consolidates Italy through veteran land grants and administrative reforms. Their differences, Antony's charisma versus Augustus's calculation, turn allies into adversaries, like rival generals vying for Rome's legacy. Augustus's propaganda transforms Antony into a traitor under Cleopatra's sway, framing Actium as Rome's defense against a foreign queen. He uses speeches and poetry, later echoed in Virgil's Aeneid, to rally Senate and people, uniting Rome under his vision. Antony and Cleopatra's bond, kindled in 41 BC at Tarsus, blends passion and politics. She offers Egypt's wealth, gold, grain, fleets, fueling his Parthian campaigns. Yet it dooms him in Roman eyes. Augustus seizes on Antony's donations of Alexandria in 34 BC, gifting Roman lands to Cleopatra's children, to stoke outrage and cast the war as Rome versus Egypt. Antony's lavish Eastern life, self-styling as Dionysus, contrasts Augustus's portrayal as guardian of Roman virtues, a narrative battle cementing his leadership. Twilight deepens, the air cooling with the sea's breath, the flicker of campfires dotting the shore like stars fallen to earth. Pre-battle tensions peak in 32 BC. Augustus declares war on Cleopatra, using Antony's will, stolen from Vestal Temple, as proof of betrayal, bequeathing Roman territories to her children. Though questionable, it sways opinion. Augustus, with Agrippa's naval expertise, builds a 400-ship fleet of agile Liburnians, outmaneuvering Antony's 500 heavier quinquiremes. Antony and Cleopatra muster 500 vessels, massive quinquiremes, at Actium's narrow bay, but internal strife plagues them. Diverse troops from Eastern Rome lack unity. Cleopatra's presence stirs resentment. Augustus's blockade, led by Agrippa, traps Antony's forces, with disease and desertions like Dellius's defection, weakening their morale. Antony's fixed position at Actium versus dispersal seals his fate, a strategic misstep exploited by Augustus's patience. The stakes are monumental. Actium's victory eliminates Antony, secures Egypt's riches, and unifies Rome under Augustus's rule. Egypt's grain and gold will feed Rome and fund reforms, cementing Pax Romana. Let the waves' gentle crash lull you, the salt on your lips a reminder of the sea's unforgiving embrace. Antony's Eastern alliance threatens Augustus's power, his dependence on Cleopatra a vulnerability. To unify the empire, Augustus must crush this rival realm, annexing Egypt's grain and gold to stabilize Rome's economy, a cornerstone for his enduring empire. As dawn paints the sky, you board a Liburnian, the deck pitching underfoot, the salty spray stinging your eyes. Agrippa's tactical brilliance shines. His 400-ship fleet, agile and disciplined, blocks Actium's mouth, starving Antony's camp. Famine and fever ravage their ranks, forcing a desperate breakout. Antony's quinquiremes, laden with towers and catapults, lumber forward. Cleopatra's 60 Egyptian ships lag behind. Agrippa's strategy splits his force into 3 wings, encircling Antony's fleet like a net, with Liburnians ramming rudders and outpacing heavier ships. The attack erupts. Arrows arc, ballistae hurl stones, corvi grapple hulls. Agrippa's Liburnians dart like wolves, ramming rudders, outmaneuvering Antony's behemoths. Chaos reigns, shouts, cracking timber, the bitter smoke of burning sails. Cleopatra's sudden flight southward, sails billowing in a favorable wind, shatters Antony's line. He He pursues on a small vessel, abandoning his fleet which crumbles, ships surrender or sink. Agrippa's precision ensures minimal losses, a triumph of strategy orchestrated by Augustus's vision. Augustus's victory at Actium in 31 BC decimates Antony's fleet, leading to Egypt's fall in 30 BC and the annexation of its wealth. In 30 BC, Augustus invades Egypt. Alexandria falls with little resistance. Antony stabs himself on false news of Cleopatra's death. She follows, snakebite her end, ending the Ptolemaic dynasty. Egypt, annexed as Augustus's personal domain, provides grain to feed Rome and gold to fund reforms, strengthening his principate. This wealth funds reforms, armies reorganized, infrastructure built, Annona sustains plebeians. Augustus's power becomes absolute, his principate in 27 BC blending monarchy with republican forms, with the Senate subordinate and his imperium commanding all. Night envelops the bay, campfires twinkling like stars, the air cool with sea mist. Actium's triumph ends the Republic's shared power, birthing the empire under Augustus's principate, ushering in Pax Romana, a 200-year peace fostering trade and culture. Senate purged, loyalists appointed, Praetorian Guard his shield. Pax Romana dawns. 200 years of peace from 27 BC to 180 AD, trade flourishing across Mediterranean, culture blooming under patrons like Maecenas. Virgil's Aeneid, Horace's odes celebrate Augustus's era, Rome's grandeur unmatched. This victory transforms Rome, with Augustus's reforms stabilizing the empire. By firelight, Augustus's mavericks glow. His propaganda, amplified by speeches and poetry, paints Antony as a traitor, rallying Rome against Cleopatra's influence. He declares war on her, framing Rome versus East, rallying support. Choosing a naval battle leverages Agrippa's expertise, with Liburnians outpacing quinquiremes. Spies reveal Cleopatra's plans, blockade tightening like a noose. Agrippa's tri-wing formation encircles, corvée grappling foes. These decisions, calculated and bold, minimize loss, maximizing gain. Firelight dances on tails. Apollo's comet over the bay heralds victory, boosting morale, tying Augustus to divine favor like a celestial endorsement. Rumors of Cleopatra's influence as a destabilizing force, spread by Augustus's allies, erode Antony's support. These narratives, crafted or coincidental, amplify Augustus's legend, his victory God-ordained. Relax now, waves whispering secrets, the sea's rhythm a lullaby. Actium crowns Augustus as Rome's sole ruler, his propaganda and Agrippa's strategy forging an empire. Treasure today's peace. No seas royal with civil war. What challenges await at Illyricum? The horizon holds the answer. Actium's legacy is profound. Egypt's annexation secures Rome's economy, while Augustus's principate establishes a stable empire. His strategic propaganda, delegating to Agrippa and seizing Egypt's resources, highlight his genius, transforming Rome into a unified power. Augustus's frail frame belied by his iron will. His narrative mastery turns Actium into a crusade for Roman unity, with poetry like Virgil's amplifying his divine aura. The will's revelation, whether stolen or staged, ignites fury, a calculated move to sway public and Senate support. Choosing sea over land, he plays to strengths, Agrippa's training turning sailors into precision machines. The blockade, patient and relentless, starves foes, disease and desertions, doing the work of swords. Cleopatra's flight, perhaps foreseen by spies, breaks Antony's spirit, his pursuit a pivotal blunder exploited by Augustus's foresight. Egypt's grain averts famine, its gold funds reforms, legions streamlined, borders fortified, Senate reshaped, laying the foundation for Pax Romana. Reforms flow, legions reduced, borders secured, Senate remade in his image. Pax Romana blooms, trade routes thriving, cultures mingling under Roman peace, Augustus's vision realized. His decisions, delegating to Agrippa, wielding propaganda, seizing opportunities, highlight his venerated traits: foresight, resilience, mastery. Anecdotes enrich the tapestry. Apollo's comet, a divine wink, rallies troops, linking him to Caesar's godhood. Stories of Antony's enchantment by Cleopatra, spread by Augustus's allies, weaken his rival's credibility. These narratives, no detail missed, weave his enduring greatness. With Actium, Augustus conquered Rome, but how did he secure the northeast frontier? The Illyricum campaign reveals his strength in the harshest conditions. In 35 to 33 BC, along Illyricum's rugged Adriatic coast, Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, tames rebellious tribes to secure Rome's northeastern frontier. You grip the rough bark of an ancient olive tree, its roots anchoring you to this wild land. as you step into the Illyricum campaign of 35 to 33 BC, walking alongside Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, in his grueling quest against fierce tribes and treacherous terrain, forging Rome's northeastern frontier and etching his legacy as the architect of an eternal empire. You stand on a volatile frontier, where Illyricum's Dalmatian and Pannonian tribes raid Roman outposts, threatening Italy's security. The chaos of civil wars, Caesar's assassination in 44 BC and the triumvirate's fractures, emboldens these tribes to strike cities like Salona. Augustus, fresh from defeating Sextus Pompey in 36 BC, campaigns to protect Italy and rival Antony's eastern power, securing vital Adriatic trade routes. Illyricum serves as a strategic bulwark, guarding Italy from Balkan threats and ensuring control over ports like Salona and Aquileia. You sense Augustus's urgency, fresh from crushing Sextus Pompey in 36 BC, facing a splintered empire. This campaign, critical for Rome's stability, strengthens Augustus's authority and paves the way for Actium. Illyricum's conquest protects Italy's eastern flank, its ports fueling Rome's economy with grain, wine, and oil. You share Augustus's political tightrope. Post-Actium in 31 BC, he needs victories to silence Senate doubters, wary of his youth and Caesar's shadow. Augustus, despite frail health, proves his worth as imperator, with Agrippa's military expertise driving the campaign's success. You march with him despite his frail health, as he proves he's no mere schemer, but an imperator worthy of Rome's legions, demonstrating strategic command in a vital region. As dusk falls, the air cools with the sea's breath, campfires twinkling like stars across the valleys, their glow dancing on the Adriatic's waves. You join Augustus in 35 BC, crossing the sea with 5 to 6 legions, 25,000, 30,000 men. Battle-scarred from Caesar's wars, flanked by Gallic and Hispanic auxiliaries skilled in mountain combat. The terrain tests you. Narrow passes, dense forests, and rocky heights favor the tribe's guerrilla ambushes. Dalmatians strike from hidden ravines, vanishing like specters. Augustus, with Agrippa's tactical leadership, orders sieges on strongholds like Salona and Siscia, using ballistae and siege towers to breach hilltop forts. Agrippa's engineering ensures supply lines from Italy's ports, carving roads through valleys to sustain the campaign. You help engineers carve temporary roads through valleys, securing supply lines from Italy's ports. A logistical feat vital for Rome's control over the region. Augustus employs relentless tactics, raiding villages, seizing livestock, and launching winter assaults to starve tribes into submission. You brave winter assaults, a bold move catching Dalmatians unprepared, their mountain refuges vulnerable in the biting cold. You gather intelligence with scouts, mapping passes and learning tribal customs, targeting sacred shrines that fuel resistance, as Appian notes their spiritual power. By 33 BC, after 2 years of relentless sieges and ambushes, you witness the tribes yield. Salona, Siscia, and Iater fall, becoming Roman hubs. Augustus integrates tribes, offering clemency to chieftains and conscripting their youth as auxiliaries, fostering Romanization. The Adriatic's trade flows freely, with Illyricum's resources, timber, iron, gold, bolstering Rome's economy and securing the frontier. Night cloaks the cliffs, the seas murmur a soothing lullaby, pine smoke curling from fires, its warmth mingling with the salt on your lips. Illyricum's annexation strengthens Rome, with Augustus's reforms, roads, forts, and reorganized legions, fortifying the northeast. You see Augustus's reforms take root. Roads expand, forts rise, legions reorganize, fortifying the northeast frontier. This victory ensures safe passage for troops to Actium and anchors Rome's eastern provinces. It's a masterstroke, transforming a lawless border into a bulwark, a critical step toward empire-wide stability. Augustus's genius lies in blending conquest with diplomacy, integrating tribes into Rome's fold. You watch him integrate tribes, offering clemency to chieftains, turning foes into allies. As Strabo notes, their auxiliaries bolster Rome's ranks. You tread the roads, initially temporary, now permanent arteries, linking Illyricum to Italy and eastern provinces, fostering trade and control. You endure logistical trials, harsh winters, scarce resources, yet Augustus's sea-based supply chains from Aquileia sustain you through blizzards. The economic windfall funds veteran settlements, securing loyalty and strengthens Rome's core, a foundation for further conquests. You see Illyricum's stability anchor the empire's northeast, enabling campaigns in Pannonia and Germania, pushing Rome's borders to the Danube. By torchlight, you marvel at Augustus's mavericks. His propaganda frames Illyricum as a defense against barbarian threats, rallying support across Rome. You execute winter strikes, exploiting tribal weaknesses, and build roads for mobility under Agrippa's direction. You gather intelligence with scouts, evading ambushes. You stand by Augustus, wounded by a hurled stone, yet commanding from a litter, as Suetonius recounts, his pain a shared sacrifice inspiring you, a testament to his resilience. Firelight dances on tails. You witness a comet over Salona, Apollo's blessing lifting your morale, tying Augustus to divine favor like a celestial seal. You hear rumors of Dalmatian priests wielding magic, their mountain shrines fueling resistance. You join Augustus in raising these temples, shattering tribal spirit and spinning tales of triumph over sorcery, strengthening his divine narrative. You learn of a Dalmatian chieftain, cornered in a hilltop fort, offering peace only to be outwitted by Augustus's spies, who uncovered his ambush. These stories, true or crafted, amplify his legend, painting him as a leader blessed by gods and feared by foes. Illyricum's conquest secures Italy's eastern frontier, linking provinces and enabling Actium's success. You feel Augustus's success silence critics, his blend of diplomacy, sparing tribes, and ruthless sieges balancing carrot and stick. You witness cultural integration, as Cassius Dio describes local elites adopting Roman law, markets thriving with Roman goods, replacing tribal ways. This victory, less famed than Actium, is pivotal, a stepping stone to the Principate in 27 BC, anchoring Rome's empire. You reflect on Augustus's foresight. His roads endure, his forts guard the frontier, his reforms fund Rome's grandeur, each step a testament to his vision. Relax now, the waves whisper cradling you, the sea's rhythm a gentle pulse. Illyricum's triumph, driven by Augustus's strategy and Agrippa's tactics, transforms a chaotic frontier into Rome's stronghold. Savor this peace. No tribes raid the Adriatic's shores. What challenges await in Cantabria's wild mountains? The horizon calls. Augustus's Illyricum campaign, blending conquest with Romanization, secures vital trade routes and strengthens his rule. His reliance on Agrippa, strategic sieges, and integration of tribes highlight his vision. You craft propaganda painting tribes as threats, rallying support like a campaign ad. You strike in winter, guided by scouts, outwitting foes, while roads bind a fractious land. You share Augustus's wound, a badge of valor by soldiers' fires. You annex Illyricum, securing Italy, funding reforms, setting the stage for Actium, a pivotal victory for empire building. The comet and temple tales weave his myth, every decision, intelligence, timing, grit, proving his mastery. Let the embers fade, the seas hush, enveloping you like a cloak. Illyricum was subdued, but could Augustus extend his empire westward? The Cantabria campaign will test his will and genius. In 26 to 19 BC, in Hispania's rugged northwest, Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, subdues the Cantabri and Astures tribes to secure Rome's western frontier. You grip the coarse bark of a stunted oak, its roots clinging to the rocky slope, as you taste the faint tang of wild berries plucked from a nearby shrub, their tartness lingering on your tongue. Below, the clatter of Roman legions, armor glinting under a pale sun, mingles with the howl of wind through narrow passes. You step into the Cantabria campaign of 26 to 19 BC, walking alongside Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, in his grueling quest to subdue the fierce Cantabri and Astures tribes, securing Rome's western frontier and cementing his legacy as a unifier of empire. You stand in Cantabria, where fierce tribes raid Roman outposts, threatening Hispania's stability and its vital gold and silver mines. The Cantabri and Astures, Celtiberian tribes renowned for their fierce independence, raid Roman outposts, plunder gold and silver mines, and defy imperial rule. Rome's civil wars have left this region vulnerable, with tribes disrupting settlements like Tarraconensis and choking trade. You sense Augustus's urgency, fresh from his triumph at Actium in 31 BC and Egypt's annexation in 30 BC, facing a fractured empire. To secure Hispania and outshine Antony's legacy, Augustus targets Cantabria's mines in Las Medulas, critical for Rome's treasury. This campaign completes Iberia's conquest, safeguarding Rome's western flank. Cantabria's rugged terrain, narrow gorges and dense forests, challenges Augustus's legions, but its conquest ensures Hispania's stability and funds imperial reforms. You share Augustus's political tightrope. Post-Actium, He needs victories to silence Senate skeptics wary of his youth and Caesar's shadow. Augustus, despite frail health, relies on Agrippa's military genius to overcome the terrain and subdue the tribes. You march with him, despite his frail health, as he proves he's no mere politician but an imperator worthy of Rome's legions, cementing his authority in the west. Dusk falls, the air chilling with the mountain's breath, campfires flickering like stars across the valleys, their glow dancing on distant streams. You join Augustus in 26 BC, leading 40,000 troops, 7 legions and auxiliaries from Gaul and Illyricum, battle-hardened from Caesar's wars. The terrain tests you. Narrow gorges, dense forests, and towering peaks favor the tribe's guerrilla ambushes. Canterbury warriors strike from hidden crags, vanishing like specters in a hit-and-run dance, as Cassius Dio describes. Augustus, with Agrippa's strategic oversight, orders sieges on strongholds like Amaya and Legio, using ballistae and siege towers to breach fortified hilltops. Agrippa's engineers carve roads through treacherous passes, securing supply lines from Portus Victoria to sustain the campaign. You help engineers carve temporary roads, securing supply lines from Portus Victoriae, a logistical feat essential for overcoming the region's challenges. Augustus and Agrippa employ relentless tactics, raiding villages, torching crops, and launching winter assaults to weaken tribal resistance. You brave winter assaults, catching estours unprepared in their mountain refuges, their breath visible in the biting cold. You gather intelligence with scouts, mapping passes and targeting sacred shrines, as Appian notes their spiritual power fuels defiance. By 25 BC, Augustus's health falters. You see him, pale and fevered, hand command to Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, his trusted general. Agrippa, battle-tested from Illyricum and Actium, tightens discipline, launching decisive strikes by 21 BC. Agrippa isolates tribes through divide-and-conquer tactics, exploiting rivalries to fracture their unity. You exploit tribal rivalries, weakening their unity, securing victory by 19 BC. By 19 BC, after 7 years of relentless clashes, you witness the tribes yield. Amaya and Legio fall, becoming Roman hubs. Cantabria is annexed into Hispania Tarraconensis, completing Rome's conquest of Iberia and securing its resources. Night cloaks the mountains, the streams murmur a soothing lullaby, pine smoke curling from fires, its warmth mingling with the crisp air on your skin. The spoils of Las Medulas's gold and silver mines flood Rome's treasury, funding temples like Mars Ultor and veteran settlements. You see Augustus's reforms take root. Roads expand, forts rise, tribes resettled to lowlands for control, as Strabo notes. This triumph stabilizes Hispania, linking it to Lusitania and Tarraconensis, and fuels Pax Romana's growth. It's a masterstroke, transforming a rebellious frontier into a bulwark, strengthening Rome's Western Empire. Augustus integrates tribes, recruiting their youth into auxiliaries and fostering Romanization through cities like Asturica Augusta. You watch him integrate tribes, recruiting their youth into auxiliaries, fostering Romanization through cities like Asturica Augusta, as Tacitus describes. His roads, initially temporary, become permanent arteries boosting trade and control, connecting Cantabria to Rome's heart. You endure logistical trials, scarce resources, yet Agrippa's sea-based supply chains from Portus Victoriae sustain you through storms. The economic windfall from Cantabria's mines funds the Principate's reforms, enabling campaigns in Germania and strengthening Rome's borders. You witness the economic windfall fuel Rome's grandeur, funding the Principate's reforms, anchoring the empire's west. By torchlight, you marvel at Augustus's mavericks. His propaganda frames Cantabria as a defense against barbarian threats, rallying Senate and people to support his western conquest. You execute Agrippa's disciplined strikes, exploiting tribal divisions, and build roads for mobility under his expert command. You gather intelligence, evading ambushes in fog-shrouded passes. You stand by Augustus, struck by illness, yet commanding early battles from a litter, as Suetonius recounts, his pain inspiring you and reinforcing his leadership. Firelight dances on tales. You hear of Augustus, fevered yet rallying legions, his grit a badge of valor shared by soldiers' fires. You catch whispers of Canterbury priests invoking gods in mountain shrines, fueling resistance, as Appian notes. You join Augustus in raising these sites, shattering tribal spirit and spinning tales of triumph over sorcery, bolstering his divine narrative. Another tale speaks of a Canterbury chieftain, cornered in a hilltop fort, offering peace only to be outwitted by Agrippa's spies, who uncovered his ambush in a moonlit gorge. These stories, true or crafted, amplify Augustus's legend, painting him as a leader blessed by gods and feared by foes. Cantabria's conquest completes Iberia's subjugation, securing Rome's western frontier and funding Pax Romana. You feel Augustus's success silence critics, his blend of diplomacy, sparing cooperative tribes, and ruthless sieges balancing carrot and stick. You witness Romanization as local elites adopt Roman law, markets thrive with goods from across the empire per Cassius Dio. This victory, less famed than Actium, is pivotal, completing Iberia's conquest and fueling Pax Romana, a foundation for empire-wide stability. You reflect on Augustus's foresight. His roads endure, his forts guard the frontier, his gold funds Rome's splendor, each step a testament to his vision. The campaign's legacy, forts like Legio, cities like Asturica, binds Hispania to Rome, ensuring centuries of stability, as Strabo and Tacitus affirm. Relax now, the streams whisper cradling you. The mountain's rhythm, a gentle pulse. Cantabria's triumph, driven by Augustus's vision and Agrippa's tactics, transforms a rebellious frontier into Rome's stronghold. Savor this peace. No tribes raid Hispania's mines. What diplomatic feats await in Parthia's distant courts? The horizon calls. Augustus's Cantabria campaign secures Hispania's wealth and stability, with Agrippa's tactics overcoming rugged terrain. His integration of tribes and economic gains from Las Medullas mines strengthen the Principate. You craft propaganda painting tribes as threats, rallying support to unify Rome. You strike with Agrippa, outwitting foes in misty valleys while roads bind a fractious land. You share Augustus's illness, his grit a badge of valor by soldiers' fires. You annex Cantabria, securing Hispania, funding Pax Romana, setting the stage for Parthia's diplomacy, a critical step for Rome's western dominance. The shrine tales weave his myth, every decision, intelligence, timing, grit, proving his mastery. Let the embers fade, the streams hush, enveloping you like a cloak. Hispania was Rome's, but how could Augustus face a formidable foe like Parthia without bloodshed? The Parthia campaign will showcase his diplomatic genius. In 20 BC, along the Euphrates River, Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, masterfully reclaims Rome's lost Aquilae from Parthia through diplomacy, securing the east without bloodshed. You step into the Parthia campaign of 20 BC, walking alongside Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, in his masterful diplomatic quest to reclaim Rome's lost Aquilae, the sacred eagle standards from the mighty Parthian Empire, restoring Rome's honor and cementing his legacy as a unifier of empire. You stand at Rome's eastern frontier, where Parthia's hold on the Aquilae, lost at Carrhae in 53 BC, fuels tension and threatens Armenia's stability. Parthia, a formidable rival spanning Mesopotamia to the Iranian plateau, holds the Aquilae lost in Crassus's catastrophic defeat at Carrhae in 53 BC, a humiliation etched in Rome's memory, as Plutarch recounts. The Parthians' interference in Armenia, a key buffer kingdom, jeopardizes Syria and Judea, disrupting Silk Road trade. You sense Augustus's urgency. Fresh from triumphs in Illyricum, Actium, and Cantabria, now facing a fractured empire. To restore Rome's pride and outshine Antony's failures, Augustus uses diplomacy to secure the Aquilae, exploiting Parthia's internal discord. This bloodless triumph stabilizes the east, ensuring Rome's dominance. Augustus's diplomacy, leveraging Parthia's instability, restores Rome's honor and strengthens the Principate. You share Augustus's political tightrope, post-Actium in 31 BC, with the Principate established in 27 BC. He needs victories to silence Senate skeptics wary of his power. Augustus, frail yet resolute, employs Tiberius to project strength, proving his diplomatic genius akin to Metternich's statecraft. You stand by him, frail yet resolute, as he proves he's no mere conqueror, but a diplomat worthy of Rome's legions, securing the east through cunning. Dusk settles, the air cooling with the river's breath, campfires twinkling like stars across the plains, their glow dancing on the Euphrates ripples. You join Augustus in 20 BC, orchestrating a campaign not of swords but of words. He sends Tiberius to Syria with legions, their presence a silent threat to pressure Parthia's king, Phraates IV, amid his court's strife. You accompany envoys bearing gifts, slaves, horses, jewels, to Parthia's king, Phraates IV, softening his resolve amid his throne's internal strife. Augustus secures Armenia's pro-Roman king, Artaxias II, and sends Phraates' son Vonones to Rome as a hostage, ensuring compliance. You navigate Armenia's courts, securing a pro-Roman king Artaxias Sect to anchor Rome's influence, as Tacitus notes. You witness Augustus's bold stroke, sending Phraates' son Vonones to Rome as a hostage, ensuring compliance without bloodshed, a calculated move to exploit Parthia's divisions. Augustus's strategy hinges on Parthia's internal weaknesses, with spies revealing Phraates' fears of rebellion, as Cassius Dio suggests. You weave through Parthian palaces, whispering terms of peace, offering trade concessions, while legions stand ready. You feel the weight of each carefully worded scroll, securing a treaty that returns the Aquilae and Carri prisoners. Phraates, wary of civil war and Rome's might, yields. You stand as he returns the Aquilae and surviving Carri prisoners, a triumph sealed by a treaty recognizing Armenia's pro-Roman status. By 20 BC, you witness Rome's honor restored, the Aquilae paraded in Rome, placed in the temple of Mars Ultor, as Suetonius recounts. This bloodless victory, driven by Augustus's foresight, stabilizes the east without war. Night cloaks the desert, the rivers murmur a soothing lullaby, cedar smoke curling from fires, its warmth mingling with the cool air on your skin. The triumph boosts Silk Road trade, with silks and spices enriching Rome's treasury, as Strabo details. You see Augustus's reforms take root. Forts strengthen Syria, Armenia's loyalty binds the frontier, and peace fuels Pax Romana's prosperity. This victory secures Rome's eastern flank, enabling diplomatic overtures to India, as Res Gestae notes. It's a masterstroke, transforming a humiliated frontier into a bulwark, cementing Rome's eastern dominance. Augustus fosters Romanization, with Syrian cities adopting Roman law per Tacitus, integrating the East into Rome's fabric. You see him foster Romanization, as Syrian cities adopt Latin laws per Tacitus, weaving the East into Rome's fabric. The economic windfall, trade revenues, tribute, funds veteran grants and temples, strengthening the Principate. The East's stability anchors Rome's dominance, enabling focus on internal reforms, bolstering Augustus's rule. By torchlight, you marvel at Augustus's mavericks. His propaganda frames the Aquilae's return as a triumph over Parthian hubris, rallying Senate and people. You execute Tiberius's disciplined diplomacy, evading Parthian traps. You stand by Augustus, his frail health masked by resolve, inspiring envoys as Suetonius recounts, his leadership unwavering. You hear tales of a dream of Mars foretelling victory, boosting morale, as Suetonius notes, and whispers of fear of Rome's legions, amplifying Augustus's legend, a narrative of divine favor. Firelight dances on tales. You hear of Augustus's vision of Mars, a divine omen blessing the talks, tying him to the gods, as Res Gestae celebrates. You catch rumors of Phraates trembling at Rome's might, cowed by Tiberius's legions, as Cassius Dio hints, though his real fear was internal rivals. You join envoys outwitting Parthian nobles, securing Vonones as a hostage in a moonlit bargain. These stories, true or crafted, paint Augustus as a leader blessed by gods and feared by kings, his diplomacy a masterclass in statecraft. The Aquilae's return, in 20 BC, paraded in Rome, silences critics and affirms Augustus's principate, per Plutarch. You feel his success secure Syria and Judea, boosting Silk Road trade as Pliny the Elder notes, fueling Rome's splendor. You witness Romanization as Eastern elites adopt Roman customs per Tacitus, binding the frontier to Rome. This victory, bloodless yet monumental, fuels Pax Romana, a testament to Augustus's diplomatic genius. You reflect on Augustus's foresight. His treaty endures, his forts guard the east, his diplomacy opens India's courts, each step a testament to his vision. The campaign's legacy, peace, trade, honor, ensures Rome's eastern dominance, as Strabo affirms. Relax now, the rivers whisper cradling you, the desert's rhythm, a gentle pulse. Parthia's triumph, driven by Augustus's diplomacy and Tiberius's pressure, restores Rome's honor without bloodshed. Savor this calm, no Aquilae remain in Parthian hands. What feats await in Asia Minor's intricate courts? The horizon calls. Augustus's bloodless Parthia campaign secures the east, with Tiberius's legions and diplomatic finesse outmaneuvering Phraates. His exploitation of Parthia's instability and Romanization efforts strengthen Rome's frontier. You craft propaganda painting Parthia as humbled, rallying support to unify Rome. You negotiate with Tiberius, outwitting foes in torchlit halls, while legions secure Armenia. You share Augustus's vision, his dream a badge of divine favor by envoys' fires. You restore Rome's honor, funding Pax Romana, setting the stage for Asia Minor's diplomacy, a pivotal victory for Rome's eastern stability. The Mars tales weave his myth, every decision, diplomacy, timing, grit, proving his mastery. Let the embers fade, the rivers hush, enveloping you like a cloak. Success in Parthia came without swords, but could Augustus use cunning to control Asia Minor without sparking war? Explore the Asia Minor campaign. In 25 BC, in Asia Minor's vibrant crossroads, Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, stabilizes client kingdoms to secure Rome's eastern frontier. You stand on a windswept cliff overlooking the Aegean Sea, your fingers grazing the smooth marble of a half-carved column, its cool surface grounding you. Below, Roman legions march through Anatolia's rugged valleys, their armor glinting under a fading sun, while waves crash against the rocky shore. You step into the Asia Minor campaign of 25 BC, walking alongside Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, in his cunning quest to tame the fractious client kingdoms of Galatia, Cappadocia, and Commagene, securing Rome's eastern frontier and cementing his legacy as a unifier of empire. You stand in Asia Minor, a cultural bridge between East and West, where the death of Galatia's king Amyntas sparks unrest, threatening Rome's control. The death of Galatia's king Amyntas in a skirmish against Pisidian rebels, as Cassius Dio recounts, leaves a power vacuum threatening Rome's grip. Client kingdoms like Cappadocia and Commagene waver, their loyalty torn between Rome and Parthia's influence. You sense Augustus's urgency, fresh from triumphs in Actium and Cantabria, now facing a sprawling empire. To secure Asia Minor's trade routes and shield Syria from Parthia, Augustus employs diplomacy and administrative reforms, transforming instability into order. This campaign strengthens Rome's eastern flank, serving as a cultural and strategic link to the east. Asia Minor's client kingdoms, vital for buffering Parthia, are stabilized through Augustus's reforms, anchoring Pax Romana. You share Augustus's political tightrope. Post-Principate in 27 BC, he needs victories to silence Senate skeptics wary of his youth. Augustus, frail yet resolute, proves his statesmanship by integrating client kingdoms, fostering Romanization and securing trade. You stand by him, frail yet resolute, as he proves he's no mere warlord but a statesman worthy of Rome's legions, laying the foundation for future campaigns. Dusk falls, the air cooling with the sea's breath, campfires flickering like stars across the hills, their glow dancing on the Aegean's ripples. You join Augustus in 25 BC, orchestrating a campaign of scrolls, not swords. Amyntas's death prompts Augustus to annex Galatia as Provincia Galatia, appointing Marcus Lollius as governor to enforce Roman law, as Suetonius notes. You quell Pisidian rebels with swift legion strikes, securing roads while weaving alliances with Cappadocia's Archelaus through marriage ties and Commagene's Mithridates III with trade perks, as Tacitus describes. Augustus appoints Roman advisors to client courts, ensuring loyalty without conquest, strengthening Rome's eastern buffer. You witness Augustus's bold stroke, appointing Roman advisors to client courts, ensuring loyalty without conquest, a diplomatic masterstroke. Augustus's reforms stabilize Asia Minor, with client kingdoms acting as a bulwark against Parthia, securing trade routes. You ride with envoys through Anatolia's dust-choked roads, negotiating with local kings, offering gold and titles while legions loom nearby. You feel the weight of each sealed parchment, cementing alliances that protect Rome's frontier. Rebel holdouts in Taurus fade under precise strikes, as Strabo recounts. By 25 BC, you see Galatia integrated, its city Ancyra a Roman hub, while Cappadocia and Commagene swear fealty. Asia Minor's stability, driven by Augustus's diplomacy, paves the way for the Parthian triumph in 20 BC, as reshaped celebrates. Night cloaks the cliffs. The seas murmur a soothing lullaby, thyme's aroma curling from fires, its warmth mingling with the cool air on your skin. Asia Minor's markets boom, with grain and oil flowing to Rome, funding temples like Apollo's, as Pliny the Elder notes. You see Augustus's reforms take root. Forts rise in Galatia, roads expand, client kings tethered by Roman brides per Tacitus. This triumph secures Rome's eastern flank, strengthening Pax Romana's foundation. It's a masterstroke, transforming a fractious frontier into a bulwark, ensuring Rome's eastern stability. Augustus fosters Romanization, with Ancyra adopting Latin laws per Strabo, integrating Asia Minor into Rome's fabric. You watch him exploit Amyntas's death, swiftly annexing Galatia while rebels scatter, as Cassius Dio details. His envoys, backed by legionary might, balance gifts with subtle threats, outmaneuvering client courts. The economic windfall from trade and taxes funds veteran grants and forums, bolstering the Principate. The economic windfall, taxes, trade, funds veteran grants and forums, anchoring Rome's eastern dominance. By torchlight, you marvel at Augustus's mavericks. His propaganda frames Asia Minor as Rome's shield against eastern chaos, rallying Senate and people. You execute his disciplined reforms, evading tribal traps. You stand by Augustus, his frail health masked by resolve, inspiring envoys, as Suetonius recounts, his leadership unwavering. You hear tales of a golden statue sent to Cappadocia's Archelaus, cementing loyalty, and whispers of client kings trembling at Rome's might, amplifying Augustus's legend, a narrative of divine favor. Firelight dances on tales. You hear of the golden statue, a lavish gift to Archelaus tying him to Rome. As Suetonius notes, a divine gesture boosting morale. You catch rumors of client kings quaking at Augustus's power, cowed by legions, as Cassius Dio hints, though their real fear was losing trade perks. You join envoys outwitting tribal chiefs, securing alliances in moonlit tents. These stories, true or crafted, paint Augustus as a leader blessed by gods and feared by kings, his reforms a testament to his vision. Asia Minor's stabilization in 25 BC secures trade routes and buffers Parthia, fueling Pax Romana. Galatia's annexation, per Plutarch, silences critics, affirming Augustus's principate. You feel his success secure trade routes, boosting Ephesus's markets, as Strabo notes, fueling Rome's splendor. You witness Romanization as local elites adopt Roman law per Tacitus, binding Asia Minor to Rome. This victory, quiet yet pivotal, fuels Pax Romana, a foundation for Rome's eastern campaigns. You reflect on Augustus's foresight. His forts endure, his roads hum with trade, his alliances hold Parthia at bay, each step a testament to his vision. Relax now, the seas whisper cradling you, the cliffs rhythm a gentle pulse. Asia Minor's triumph, driven by Augustus's diplomacy and reforms, transforms a fractious frontier into Rome's stronghold. Savor this calm. No client kings defy Rome. What trials await in Teutoburg's dark forests? The horizon calls. Augustus's Asia Minor campaign secures the east through client kingdoms and Romanization, paving the way for Parthia's diplomacy. You craft propaganda painting client kings as tamed, rallying support to unify Rome. You negotiate in torchlit halls, outwitting chiefs while legions guard the roads. You share Augustus's vision, his statue a badge of divine favor by envoys' fires. You stabilize Asia Minor, funding Pax Romana, setting the stage for Parthia's diplomacy, a pivotal step for Rome's eastern stability. The statue tales weave his myth, every decision, diplomacy, timing, grit, proving his mastery. Let the embers fade, the seas hush, enveloping you like a cloak. Asia Minor was secured, but would Augustus's ambition for expansion face its test? The Teutoburg disaster will expose his limits. In 9 AD, in Germania's Teutoburg forest, Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, faces a catastrophic defeat under Varus, but pivots to fortify the Rhine, securing Rome's frontier. You stand on a misty ridge overlooking the Teutoburg forest, your boots sinking into the muddy soil. Below, Roman legions trudge through narrow paths, their armor clanking under a gray sky, rain pattering on their shields. You step into the Teutoburg disaster, walking alongside Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, as his ambition to conquer Germania crumbles under Arminius's betrayal. Yet his pragmatic recovery cements his legacy as a leader who bends but never breaks. You stand in Germania's wild frontier, where Arminius, a Roman-trained traitor, ambushes Varus, shattering Rome's dream of an Elbe River border. The Cherusci, led by Arminius, a Roman-trained traitor, plot in secret, exploiting Rome's heavy taxes and forced levies, as Tacitus recounts. You sense Augustus's urgency, fresh from triumphs in Illyricum, Parthia, and Asia Minor, tasking Varus with Romanizing Germania. But Arminius, leveraging his Roman training, orchestrates a devastating ambush. This defeat halts Rome's expansion into Germania, forcing Augustus to redefine its northern frontier. Teutoburg's loss prompts Augustus to abandon Germania's conquest, instead fortifying the Rhine to protect Gaul and stabilize Pax Romana. You share Augustus's political tightrope. Post-Principate in 27 BC, he needs victories to silence Senate critics, wary of his power. Varus's overconfidence, as Suetonius notes, blinds him to Arminius's betrayal, costing Rome 3 legions. You march with Varus, his administrative zeal outpacing his caution, trusting Arminius's false reports of a minor uprising. Dusk settles, the forest's shadows lengthening, campfires dim under relentless drizzle, their flicker lost in the fog. You join Varus in 9 AD, leading legions Sweftian the Aetian Knight, 15,000 men, into Teutoburg's trap, lured by Arminius's ruse, as Velleius Paterculus details. The forest closes in, paths narrowing, rain and mud slowing your march. Germanic spears fly from the mist, Cherusi warriors striking and vanishing over 3 brutal days, per Cassius Dio. You witness the rout, legions splintered, Aquilae lost, Varus falling on his sword. Rome's honor is shattered, with 3 legions destroyed and Germania unconquered. Night cloaks the forest, the rains patter a mournful dirge, pine smoke faint against the cold air on your skin. In Rome, Augustus laments, Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions, as Suetonius recounts, yet his resolve shines through. You stand in Rome, hearing Augustus's anguished cry, Quinctilius Varus, give me back my legions, as Suetonius recounts, his grief raw, hair uncut, beard untrimmed. He halts reckless revenge, fortifying the Rhine with forts at Cologne and Mainz, per Tacitus, ensuring Rome's northern stability. You feel the loss, 3 legions gone, Aquilae in enemy hands, yet Rome endures, its frontier secured through Augustus's pragmatism. Augustus's recovery transforms defeat into a strategic lesson, strengthening the Rhine and preserving Pax Romana. You watch him halt Germania's conquest, recognizing its cost, as Cassius Dio details. Germanicus later reclaims 2 Aquilae per Tacitus, restoring some honor. You see him reform command, replacing inept governors, fostering Romanization in Gaul, as Strabo notes. The economic shift, trade redirected, resources preserved, funds temples and veteran grants, stabilizing the empire. Germania's loss reshapes Rome's strategy, securing Pax Romana, a testament to Augustus's resilience. By torchlight, you marvel at Augustus's mavericks. His propaganda spins Teutoburg as a call to unity, rallying Senate and people to fortify the Rhine. You execute his disciplined retreat, evading Germanic raids. You stand by Augustus, his frail health masking resolve, inspiring loyalty, as Suetonius recounts, his leadership unwavering despite grief. You hear tales of his grief, a divine omen of loss, and whispers of Arminius's spies, amplifying the betrayal, framing Augustus as a leader who endures. Firelight dances on tales. You hear of Augustus' lament, a divine plea tying him to Rome's soul, as Res Gestae hints. You catch rumors of Arminius's guile, his Roman training turned against Varus, as Velleius Paterculus notes, though his real edge was local rage. You join envoys rebuilding Rhine forts, securing Gaul. These stories, true or crafted, paint Augustus as a leader humbled yet unbowed, his pivot a strategic triumph. Teutoburg's defeat in 9 AD forces Augustus to fortify the Rhine, ensuring Gaul's safety and Pax Romana's endurance. The Rhine's forts, per Tacitus, hold the line, protecting Gaul, as Strabo details. You feel Augustus's recovery secure trade, funding Rome's splendor. You witness Romanization in Cologne, binding the frontier, per Pliny the Elder. This defeat, bitter yet transformative, fuels Pax Romana, a strategic retreat that strengthens Rome. You reflect on Augustus's foresight. His forts endure, his reforms stabilize, his restraint outshines Varus's folly, each step a testament to his vision. Relax now, the rains whisper cradling you, the forest's rhythm a gentle pulse. Teutoburg's tragedy, overcome by Augustus's resilience, transforms defeat into Rome's enduring strength. Savor this calm. No legions march into Germania's depths. What triumphs await in Rome's eternal city? The horizon calls. Augustus's response to Teutoburg secures Gaul through Rhine fortifications, turning defeat into a lesson for Pax Romana. You craft propaganda painting Teutoburg as a lesson, rallying support to unify Rome. You rebuild with Germanicus, outwitting tribal traps while forts rise on the Rhine. You share Augustus's vision, his grief a badge of duty by envoys' fires. You stabilize Gaul, funding Pax Romana, setting the stage for Rome's endurance, a pivotal recovery for Rome's northern frontier. The lament tales weave his myth, every decision, restraint, reform, grit, proving his mastery. Let the embers fade, the rains hush enveloping you like a cloak. In 14 AD in Rome's Forum, Augustus, architect of Pax Romana, binds his campaigns into an enduring empire. You stand in Rome's torchlit Forum, 14 AD, the Tiber's whisper soft under starlight. You walk with Augustus, his frail frame cloaking a titan's will, his genius weaving campaigns, Illyricum's rugged victories, Cantabria's mines, Parthia's diplomacy, Asia Minor's alliances, Teutoburg's lesson, into Pax Romana's enduring peace, per Tacitus. His legions fortified borders with limes at the Rhine and Danube, per Cassius Dio, while his reforms, temples to Apollo, myths in the Aeneid, cast him as Rome's savior, per Suetonius. He balances military might with diplomacy, forging marriage pacts in Cappadocia and reducing legions to 28, ensuring loyalty, as Tacitus notes. His restraint after Teutoburg strengthens Rome's core, uniting provinces from Egypt to Gaul. You marvel at his restraint, pivoting from Teutoburg's loss to fortify Rome's heart, cementing an empire that endures. Augustus's legacy blends conquest with statecraft, stabilizing Rome through strategic restraint. His spies outmaneuver senators, securing the Principate, per Suetonius, while economic gains from provinces fund Rome's grandeur. His genius, blending might with rhetoric, binds provinces from Egypt to Gaul, a testament to his vision as Rome's unifier. His legacy, a dance of Gumgyao and Lainoi, crowns him eternal. Military and diplomatic triumphs shaped the empire, but how did Augustus restructure Rome to ensure lasting stability? Explore his revolutionary administrative reforms. In 27 BC, from Rome's Palatine Hill, Augustus, architect of Pax Romana, reshapes a fractured republic into an enduring empire. You stand on the Palatine Hill at dawn, 27 BC, overlooking Rome's awakening streets, the Tiber's gentle murmur grounding you. You step into Augustus's transformed world, once Gaius Octavius, now emperor, weaving achievements, decisions, and intellect to turn a fractured republic into a mighty empire ushering Pax Romana, a 200-year peace. His reforms in military, administration, and finance stabilize Rome, influencing emperors like Tiberius and Trajan, per Tacitus. From the republic's chaos, Augustus consolidates power, drawing on Greek and Egyptian models to craft the Principate. You've entered a Rome reborn from civil war's ashes, power once fractured now coalescing under Augustus's hand. From the Republic's chaos, riven by Caesar, Pompey, Antony's conflicts, per Tacitus, the 44 BC assassination unleashes a storm Augustus navigates with cunning. As Caesar's heir, you join the Second Triumvirate, crushing assassins at Philippi in 42 BC, eliminating rivals at Actium in 31 BC against Antony and Cleopatra. In 27 BC, the Senate bestows Augustus, the August one, marking the Principate's birth, a blend of republican facade and centralized control, per Suetonius, inspired by Hellenistic monarchies and Egypt's administrative efficiency. Augustus's military reforms secure Rome's frontiers, ensuring long-term stability. You stand in the Senate, senators' voices echoing under Augustus' eye. His military reforms revolutionize, reducing legions from 60 to 28, paying regular salaries to bind loyalty to state, not generals, per Cassius Dio. The Praetorian Guard, an elite force, protects Rome and the emperor, per Suetonius, becoming a cornerstone for successors like Tiberius. Limes along the Rhine and Danube, per Tacitus, shield against external threats, securing provinces for centuries. Provincial governance divides into senatorial and imperial zones, with Egypt and Syria under direct control, yielding grain and wealth, per Strabo, sustaining Rome's economy under later emperors. You stroll Rome's transformed streets, hammers clinking at construction sites. Augustus boasts in Res Gestae, "I found Rome brick, left it marble." You admire Apollo's temple on Palatine and Mars Ultor's temple in Augustus's Forum, commemorating Philippi and Parthia, per Cassius Dio. The Areopagus, celebrating Pax Romana, and his Tiber mausoleum symbolize imperial unity, per Suetonius, inspiring civic pride under Trajan and beyond. You feel his laws' impact. Lex Julia, 18 BC, and Lex Poppaea Poppaea, 9 AD, promote marriage and children, stabilizing society, per Suetonius, a model for later imperial policies. Augustus's administrative and financial reforms strengthen Rome's infrastructure, enabling imperial continuity. You traverse empire's veins, roads like Via Appia revitalized, new highways linking provinces, facilitating trade and troop movement, per Strabo. The Cursus Publicus postal system ensures rapid communication, per Cassius Dio, a framework used by successors like Hadrian. Financial reforms standardize coinage, aureus gold, denarius silver, curbing corruption, with the imperial fiscus separate from the senatorial aerarium, per Cassius Dio, ensuring fiscal stability for future reigns. Provinces like Egypt yield grain, Hispania's mines gold, funding Annona distributions in veteran lands per Pliny the Elder, a system sustaining Rome's economy under Tiberius and Trajan. You linger in the forum at twilight, torchlights flickering like stars. Augustus's propaganda, with Virgil's Aeneid tying him to Aeneas per Suetonius, and his title Restitutor Republicae, reinforces Roman values like virtus and pietas, shaping imperial ideology for successors. You see him promote mos maiorum, punishing adultery, even exiling daughter Julia per Tacitus. Political marriages like Julia to Agrippa and Tiberius secure succession per Suetonius, a strategy echoed by later emperors. Internal security forces, Praetorian Guard, urban cohorts, vigils maintain order per Cassius Dio, a model for imperial control. Augustus's intelligence network and Stoic philosophy underpin his governance, influencing Rome's stability. Your Augustus's confidant in Stoic philosophy, Festina Lente, hastes slowly, guiding decisions per Suetonius. His speculators monitor senators and governors, quashing plots per Tonius, a surveillance system adopted by successors. You hear of him disguising as a commoner to check governors, rooting corruption per Suetonius, ensuring administrative integrity. These measures, blending vigilance and caution, stabilize the Principate for Tiberius and beyond. By torchlight, you marvel at Augustus's genius. His propaganda paints him as Rome's savior, rallying Senate and people, per Tacitus, a narrative that endures in imperial cults. You execute his reforms, evading civil war's ghosts. You stand by Augustus, his frail health masking resolve, inspiring loyalty as Tonius recounts, his leadership shaping Rome's future. You hear tales of divine omens, Apollo blessing his rule, and whispers of client kings cowed by Rome's might, per Tacitus, amplifying his legend. Firelight dances on tales. You hear of a comet at Caesar's games tying Augustus to the gods, as Res Gestae hints. You catch rumors of client kings fearing Rome's power, per Tacitus, though drawn by trade. You join envoys securing provinces in moonlit councils. These stories, true or crafted, paint Augustus as a leader blessed by fate, his reforms a divine mandate for Rome's endurance. Augustus's reforms reshape Rome's destiny, ensuring stability for centuries. The Praetorian Guard, per Suetonius, secures Rome, silencing critics, as Plutarch details. His infrastructure and financial systems boost trade, funding Rome's splendor, per Strabo, sustaining the empire under Trajan. You witness Romanization, as provinces embrace Roman law, per Tacitus, binding the empire to the capital. This vision, forged through sword and word, fuels Pax Romana, a framework for imperial continuity. You reflect on Augustus's foresight. His limes endure, his myths inspire, his restraint outshines Teutoburg's shadow, each step a testament to his vision. Relax now, the Tiber's whisper cradling you, the forum's rhythm a gentle hum. Augustus's reforms, blending military strength, administrative efficiency, and cultural unity, forge Pax Romana's enduring legacy. Savor this calm, no civil wars tear Rome. What reforms await the eternal city? The horizon calls. Augustus's genius stabilizes Rome, his reforms shaping an empire for Tiberius and Trajan. You craft propaganda painting him as savior, rallying support to unify Rome. You negotiate in torchlit halls, outwitting foes while legions guard frontiers. You share his vision, a badge of divine favor by temple fires. You stabilize Rome, funding Pax Romana, setting the stage for eternal glory, a foundation for Rome's imperial future. The myth tales weave his legend, every decision, force, finesse, grit, proving his mastery. Let the embers fade, the Tiber's hush enveloping you like a cloak. Monumental reforms and grand works shaped Rome. But what led the people to revere Augustus as a god? Explore the anecdotes and rumors that crowned his legend. In 14 AD, in Rome's Forum, Augustus's anecdotes and rumors craft him as a divine ruler, cementing his eternal legend. You stand in Rome's bustling Forum at dusk, 14 AD, the Tiber's soft ripples echoing nearby. Your sandals tread worn cobblestones, fingers grazing the cool marble of a statue of Augustus, its youthful face defying his years. The city hums with whispers, tales of divine favor, mercy, cunning, and human quirks, spinning a myth around the emperor who forged Pax Romana. You're drawn into these stories, a tapestry of rumors and anecdotes, some true, some crafted, painting Augustus as both God-touched hero and mortal strategist. They're spread through orations and poetry, solidifying his divine authority, per Suetonius. From the Republic's ashes, Augustus's rise fuels tales that elevate him to divine status. You step into a Rome alive with stories, where Augustus, once Gaius Octavius, is no mere emperor, but a living legend. From the Republic's ashes, torn by Caesar's murder in 44 BC and civil wars with Antony per Tacitus, you see him rise, a young knight's son, to wield power through the Second Triumvirate and victory at Actium in 31 BC. By 27 BC, the Senate names him Augustus, the August One, launching the Principate, a veiled monarchy cloaked in republican garb per Suetonius. These tales, amplified by poets like Virgil, legitimize his rule as divinely ordained. Anecdotes of divine omens portray Augustus as chosen by the gods. You linger by Jupiter's temple, torches casting shadows, as whispers of divine omens echo. Suetonius recounts a tale from Augustus's birth in 63 BC at Velitrae. A great eagle, Jupiter's emblem, perches on his family's roof, its wings a symbol of cosmic rule. Augurs proclaim the infant destined to rule the world, a prophecy for a knight's son, not a patrician. This story, spread through public orations, ties Augustus to Jupiter's might, per Suetonius, bolstering his divine mandate in a superstitious Rome. You sail to Actium, 31 BC, the sea glittering under a starlit sky, waves lapping your ship as battle looms. Cassius Dio tells of a comet blazing overhead during Augustus's clash with Antony and Cleopatra, a sign soldiers see as Apollo's blessing, god of light and order, Augustus's patron. You stand with his legions, their cheers rising as the comet streaks, assuring victory. The Temple of Apollo on the Palatine, built later, immortalizes this divine favor, per Suetonius, reinforcing Augustus's god-chosen image. This story, natural or staged, casts Augustus as god-chosen, his Actium triumph celebrated in poetry as Pax Romana's dawn. Tales of mercy soften Augustus's rule, winning public devotion. You wander Rome's crowded streets as tales of mercy spread. Suetonius shares a story. Early in his reign, amid plots, Augustus confronts an assassin, perhaps a senator, planning his death. Instead of execution, he demands only an oath of loyalty, turning foe to ally. This anecdote, circulated in forums, contrasts his Proscriptions' ruthlessness per Tacitus, earning him the title Pater Patri in 2nd BC. You nod, seeing a merciful leader reshape Rome's perception, unlike Sulla's purges. You visit a humble dwelling outside Rome, where Augustus visits a sick veteran, once Caesar's soldier, now frail. He offers coin and grain, ensuring care, per Suetonius. This tale, shared among legions, deepens soldiers' loyalty, portraying Augustus as a leader who honors Rome's servants, per Cassius Dio. This gesture, real or spun by Maecenas, crafts Augustus as a compassionate ruler, binding the military to his divine image. Rumors of cunning and surveillance underscore Augustus's control. You slip into torchlit shadows, whispers of cunning swirling. Tacitus hints at rumors, Augustus or Livia poisoning Marcellus, his nephew and heir, in 23 BC, clearing Tiberius's path. Gaius and Lucius Caesar's deaths in 2 and 4 AD fuel suspicion, though unproven. These tales, whispered in markets, add a fearsome aura, keeping foes wary, per Tacitus. You overhear talk of Augustus's spy network, per Cassius Dio, disguised merchants and servants eavesdropping on senators, quashing plots. A story of a senator's conspiracy uncovered by a disguised servant, per Suetonius, reinforces his vigilance, ensuring no threat grows unchecked. Augustus's remarkable memory and subtle tactics enhance his legend. You pause in the Senate as Augustus's memory amazes. Suetonius notes he names hundreds of senators and soldiers without notes, from Philippi's heroes to Actium's veterans, forging bonds. This feat, praised in public speeches, humanizes yet elevates him, per Suetonius. In markets, you hear of him posing as a merchant in Asia or Hispania, uncovering a governor's corruption, then confronting him, per Suetonius. This anecdote, spread through orations, underscores his administrative diligence. His statues, eternally youthful, mimic Apollo's timeless beauty, per Cassius Dio, a propaganda coup that keeps him ageless in Rome's eyes. You linger by Livia's side, her influence fueling rumors. Tacitus whispers she orchestrated Marcellus's death and others to secure Tiberius's throne. Though unproven, these stories cast her as a shadow queen, amplifying Augustus's mystique, per Tacitus. In theaters, Augustus laughs at Plautus's comedies, per Suetonius, his mirth humanizing him. This tale, shared in public gatherings, balances his divine image with mortal charm, endearing him to the people. These anecdotes and rumors, true or crafted, crown Augustus as a divine ruler. You stand by Mars Ultor's temple, reflecting on Augustus's festina lente, haste slowly, per Suetonius, guiding his restraint post-Teutoburg, fortifying Rhine's limes per Tacitus. His spies quash plots per Cassius Dio, while the Aeneid ties him to gods per Virgil, cementing his divine narrative. These stories, spread through poetry and orations, unify Rome, fueling the imperial cult that reveres him as a god. You chuckle at his balance, sword in campaigns, scroll in diplomacy, turning empire into art. Relax now, the Tiber's whisper cradling you, the forums hum a soothing lullaby. Augustus's myths woven from divine omens, mercy and cunning, crown him eternal, unifying Rome's devotion. Savor the calm. No plots tear Rome. Legendary tales glorified Augustus, but what lies behind the radiant myth? Join us to uncover the dark corners and fateful death of his reign. In 14 AD on the Palatine Hill, Augustus's triumphs mask ruthless purges, family tragedies, and a death that tests his empire's stability. You stand in Rome's twilight, 14 AD on the Palatine Hill, the Tiber's murmur grounding you. Your fingers trace a statue's cool marble, Augustus's youthful face carved eternal, defying his frail 75 years. The city pulses with tales of his triumphs, it whispers of darker truths, ruthless purges, family tragedies, and a death that seals an empire, linger in the shadows. You step into Augustus's world, once Gaius Octavius, a man of brilliance and brutality, whose life wove glory with sacrifice to forge Pax Romana, his death exposing the fragility of his succession, per Tacitus. From civil war's chaos, Augustus's rise is stained by ruthless purges. You enter a Rome scarred by civil war, reborn under Augustus's iron will. From Caesar's murder in 44 BC per Tacitus, the 18-year-old Octavius rises, navigating a republic torn by Antony, Brutus, and Cassius. As Caesar's heir, you join him in the Second Triumvirate, crushing foes at Philippi in 42 BC and Actium in 31 BC, per Suetonius. By 27 BC, the Senate names him Augustus, birthing the Principate, a monarchy veiled in republican tradition. Yet the Proscriptions of 43 BC, targeting 2,000-3,000 for death or exile, including Cicero, fuel his power with blood, per Appian, casting a shadow over his early reign. The Proscriptions reveal Augustus's calculated cruelty, shaping his image as a ruthless unifier. You stand in the Forum 43 BC, where the Proscriptions, enacted by Augustus, Antony, and Lepidus, nail lists to the rostra, condemning senators and knights per Appian. Cicero's head and hands, displayed after his death in 43 BC, warn dissenters per Cassius Dio. This brutality, though strategic in Rome's chaos, stains his reputation per Tacitus, yet secures the wealth and loyalty needed for Philippi, laying Pax Romana's foundation. You hear whispers of betrayal, an unverified tale of Augustus ordering a rival's kin executed to silence opposition. A rumor spread in forums that paints him as a cold strategist per Tacitus. Family tragedies expose Augustus's struggle to secure a dynasty. You wander to his household, where Julia, his daughter, is wed to Marcellus, Agrippa, then Tiberius to ensure succession per Suetonius. In 2nd BC, her scandalous affairs with nobles like Iulus Antonius spark outrage, threatening Augustus's moral laws per Tacitus. He exiles her to Pandateria, a harsh sentence that dents his image as pater patriae per Suetonius, revealing his prioritization of public morality over family. Marcellus's death in 23 BC and Gaius and Lucius Caesar's deaths in 2nd and 4th AD fuel rumors of Livia's poison, per Tacitus. These losses, though unproven, weaken Augustus's dynastic vision, forcing him to name Tiberius a reluctant heir in 4 AD, per Suetonius. Augustus's surveillance ensures control but breeds fear. You slip into Rome's underbelly, where Augustus's spies, disguised as merchants or servants, monitor senators and governors, per Cassius Dio. A senator's conspiracy, thwarted by a servant's tip, underscores his vigilance, per Suetonius, but stifles the Senate's freedom, per Ronald Syme. Executions like Iulus Antonius's in 2nd BC balance mercy with menace, reinforcing Augustus's grip, per Tacitus. This network, rooted in his early ruthlessness, shapes a controlled empire but alienates the elite, a tension Tiberius inherits. Heavy taxes fund Pax Romana but spark unrest. You traverse provinces like Hispania and Gaul, where taxes, tributum capitis and soli, fund roads, temples, and 28 legions, per Cassius Dio. Revolts in Cantabria and Gaul, crushed by Agrippa or Tiberius, reveal the empire's cost, per Tacitus, though Augustus's personal funds for grain or Asia's relief in 17 BC, per Res Gestae, ease tensions. These taxes, vital for stability, sow discontent, a challenge for Tiberius's reign, per Anthony Everett. Augustus's death in 14 AD tests his succession, revealing its fragility. You arrive at Nola August 19, 14 AD, where Augustus, frail at 75, rests in a modest villa, Suetonius. His asthma and pains linger, yet he prepares Tiberius, assigning legions and provinces. He pens res gestae, etching his deeds, temples built, enemies vanquished, peace restored, cementing his legacy, Suetonius. To Livia he bids farewell, entrusting the empire's future, then dies. His final words a call for applause for his life's performance, Suetonius. His body, cremated at Campus Martius, rests in his mausoleum, a symbol of eternal rule, Cassius Dio. Augustus's death sparks divine honors but exposes succession flaws. The Senate deifies him as Divus Augustus, temples rising to his name, Suetonius. Pax Romana endures, with roads, legions, and trade flourishing under Tiberius and Claudius, Cassius Dio. Yet Tiberius's reluctant rise, untested by Augustus's charisma, sparks tensions, Tacitus, as the lack of a direct heir weakens the principate's stability. His adoption model sets a precedent for Trajan, but falters under Caligula, Anthony Everett. The proscriptions and family scandals, though overshadowed by his triumphs, linger in Rome's memory, Ronald Syme, shaping a complex legacy of brilliance and sacrifice. You linger by the mausoleum, the Tiber's whisper cradling you, torches flickering like stars. Augustus's life, ruthless purges, tragic kin, calculated control, wove an empire from chaos, but his unclear succession challenges its future. His taxes and spies, though harsh, fueled 200 years of peace. His death, a staged exit, sealed his myth as Rome's savior. Relax now, the forums hum a lullaby. Despite his shadows, Augustus forged an immortal empire, its stability tested by Tiberius's reign. But how has his legacy endured through the ages? Join us to explore his everlasting impact. In 14 AD, on Rome's Palatine Hill, Augustus's legacy as architect of Pax Romana reshapes empires and endures in Western civilization. You stand in Rome's heart, 14 AD, under a starlit sky, the Palatine Hill aglow with torchlight. Your sandals brush ancient stones as the Tiber murmurs below. Before you looms Augustus's mausoleum, its marble silhouette a testament to a man who reshaped chaos into empire. Once Gaius Octavius, he became Augustus, forging Pax Romana, a 200-year peace that echoes through time. His legacy, administrative reforms, cultural patronage, and centralized governance, influences Byzantine, medieval, and modern systems, per Adrian Goldsworthy. Let your breath ease as we trace his enduring mark, from marble forums to the month of August. Augustus's principate transforms Rome, setting a model for imperial governance. You step into Rome's rebirth 27 BC, where Augustus, no longer the frail youth of 44 BC, accepts the Senate's title, the August one, Suetonius. From Caesar's assassination, he navigated civil wars, Philippi in 42 BC, Actium in 31 BC, crushing Antony and Cleopatra, Cassius Dio. His principate, a republic in name, cloaks absolute power, forging Pax Romana, a 200-year era of stability from 27 BC to 80 AD, Tacitus. Like Cyrus of Persia, who unified diverse lands, Augustus wove a fractured republic into an empire, his reforms shaping Byzantine and Carolingian governance, per Goldsworthy. His infrastructure and tax reforms fuel Rome's enduring wealth. You walk the Via Appia, its stones smoothed by trade, linking Rome to Egypt and Asia. Augustus's tax reforms, Tributum Capitis, Tributum Soli, fund 28 legions and grand works like the Forum of Augustus, per Res Gestae. Merchants carry grain and silk, per Cassius Dio, sustaining Rome's economy for centuries, a model for medieval trade networks. Yet in Gaul and Hispania, revolts over heavy taxes, quelled by Agrippa, reveal the cost of stability, per Tacitus, a challenge echoed in later empires like Byzantium. Augustus's cultural patronage crafts a lasting Roman identity. You pause at the Forum of Augustus, its marble gleaming, Mars Ultor's temple, built in 2 BC, honoring Caesar's avenged death, per Suetonius. Statues of Aeneas and Romulus, per Virgil's Aeneid, tie Augustus to Rome's mythic roots, shaping a unified identity across provinces, per Karl Galinsky. His patronage of Horace's Odes and Livy's Histories exalts Rome's glory, influencing Renaissance literature and modern nationalism, per Galinsky. These works, housed in Apollo's temple library, make Rome eternal, inspiring Western cultural ideals. His administrative reforms underpin imperial longevity. Augustus splits provinces into senatorial and imperial, controlling strategic Egypt and Gaul himself, per Cassius Dio. His 28 legions, professionalized post-Actium, guard Rhine and Danube per Tacitus, a military model adopted by Trajan and Hadrian. The Praetorian Guard secures Rome per Suetonius, while veterans colonies in Hispania bind loyalty per res gestae, a system influencing medieval feudal structures. These reforms, blending centralized control with provincial autonomy, shape Byzantine administration and European monarchies, per Goldsworthy. Augustus's cultural and political legacy transcends Rome. You linger by Apollo's temple, where Virgil's Aeneid links Augustus to divine destiny, per Suetonius. Horace's Carmen Seculare, sung in 17 BC, and Livy's Histories craft a shared Roman identity, per Galinsky, echoed in Renaissance art and Enlightenment ideals. His architecture, Pantheon, Mausoleum, blends Greek elegance with Roman might, inspiring capitals from Constantinople to Washington, D.C., per Cassius Dio. The month of August, named for his victories, per Suetonius, embeds his legacy in time, like Cyrus's enduring Achaemenid reforms. Comparisons to other rulers highlight Augustus's unique balance. You compare Augustus to Ashoka, who embraced Buddhist peace post-Kalinga, per ancient Indian texts. Augustus, post-Proscriptions, builds Pax Romana with strategic restraint, maintaining legions, per Tacitus, unlike Ashoka's spiritual pivot. Constantine, legalizing Christianity, mirrors Augustus's divine titles, per Eusebius, but reshapes faith, while Augustus unified culture. Napoleon, inspired by Augustus's legal reforms, falls to overreach, unlike Augustus's caution post-Teutoburg, per Anthony Everett. Augustus's blend of power and restraint sets a precedent for stable governance, per Ronald Syme. His death in 14 AD tests but affirms his legacy. You stand before his mausoleum, where Augustus, dying in 14 AD at Nola, bids farewell and seeks applause for his life's play, per Suetonius. His ashes laid in this tomb mark him as Divus Augustus, temples rising in his name, per Cassius Dio. Yet his succession falters. Tiberius's reluctant rise sparks unrest, per Tacitus, highlighting the Principate's reliance on a strong leader. His adoption model sets a precedent for Trajan, but falters under Caligula, per Goldsworthy. Despite this, Pax Romana endures, sustaining Rome's glory under Claudius and Hadrian, per Cassius Dio. Augustus's Stoic philosophy and duality define his enduring impact. His maxim, festina lente, haste slowly, guides his rule, balancing force with mercy, per Cassius Dio. Forgiving foes and aiding veterans, he earns pater patriae, per res gestae, while spies and purges ensure control, per Syme. This philosopher-king duality, per Galinsky, inspires medieval and modern rulers, from Charlemagne to constitutional monarchs. His legacy, etched in laws and stones, shapes Western governance, per Mary Beard. Augustus's name echoes through history and culture. The month of August honors his victories, per Suetonius. In modern culture, Claudius portrays him as kind but manipulated, per Robert Graves, while HBO's Rome shows his ruthless youth. Games like Total War Rome 2 cast him as a strategist, per Creative Assembly. Historians like Goldsworthy praise his peace, Syme critiques his tyranny, and Beard balances both, calling him a product of chaos crafting order, per SPQR. His reforms and myths endure in parliaments and city halls, per Galinsky. You stand in Rome's ruins, the forum's columns whispering of Augustus's vision. His Pax Romana, reforms, and cultural works make Rome eternal, shaping Byzantine, medieval, and modern systems, per Cassius Dio. Relax now, the Tiber's lullaby soothing, stars above the mausoleum gleaming. How does one etch eternity? Augustus's blend of power, culture, and restraint shows the way, his legacy stretching across time. We've just wandered through the timeless saga of Rome, where Augustus, once a frail Gaius Octavius, rose to become the architect of an eternal empire. From the blood-stained Forum to the marble splendor of the Palatine, from the crashing waves of Actium to the quiet Tiber's flow, Augustus wove power, mercy, and myth into Pax Romana, a 200-year peace spanning Hispania to Egypt. Suetonius whispers of a youth touched by Apollo's light, navigating civil wars to unite millions under a laurel crown. His throne was not just a seat of power, it was a crucible of strategy, sacrifice, and vision, from the res gestae's marble boasts to the grand mausoleum that awed generations. Whether sparing foes with calculated grace, building temples to gods, or naming the month of August, his legacy endures, shaping Rome into the eternal city and inspiring empires from Byzantium to today. Picture the flicker of torchlight on his statues, the scent of myrrh from Apollo's temple, and the Tiber's gentle hum. Your heart pulses with the echo of his name. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to keep these legendary tales alive. Your support fuels our time machine, unearthing more stories that inspire and awe. Tell us in the comments, what makes Augustus your greatest emperor? His cunning that forged an empire from chaos, his mercy that won hearts, or his myth as a god-king that still captivates the world? Are you still awake, lost in his glory? Let your thoughts drift, share them below, and help us keep history's fire burning. Your clicks and comments are our spark. Join us, and let's journey through the ages together again soon.